Twiddle-dee, twiddle-dum, not figuring out Zoom.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I'm just kidding. Ashley can't get in on
So
Zoom
now
for
she
some
has
reason.
to, so now she has to,
Low volume. Well, I'll move to the next one. I don't want.
Ready to start? I'll stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
right, Counselor Whitaker.
Here.
Counselor Smalley. Counselor Grassman.
I'm here.
Counselor Hamilton.
Here.
Counselor Box.
Here.
Counselor Daigle.
I'm here.
Mayor Sumner.
Introduction of media. Any media present? Anyone wishing to speak before the city council tonight on any subject matter will need to fill out a speaker form and turn it into the recorder. Forms are available on the sign-in table in the back of the room. Please turn cell phones off or silence them during the meeting. Announcement for Zoom attendees. If you're joining tonight's meeting via Zoom, you will automatically be muted upon entry and will need to identify yourself if your full name is not already attached to the device being used. You will be unable to unmute yourself. If you wish to speak, use the raise your hand feature. Use it, click on the reactions icon at the bottom of your screen and click on the image of a hand. Public comment. The purpose of this public comment period is to allow citizens to present information or raise issues regarding agenda items only. There will be a time at the end of the meeting for citizens to speak about off-agenda items. A time limit of 3 minutes per citizen shall apply. All citizens must come up to the microphone. Any public comments? Okay. Presentations, Sutherland Sanitary Service.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Grant Fahey. I'm the operations manager for Sutherland Sanitary Service.
It should be on.
You should all have the paperwork in front of you that I sent in. Does everybody have it? Everybody have the proposed rates in front of them? Oh, all right. So as I'm sure everybody's aware, everything is more expensive now than it was about a year ago. Fuel, for example, has gone up 100% since this time last year. And that and the price of equipment has also gone up. Basically everything in our industry has gone up. Because of that, we're asking for an 8.6% rate increase. That's just to follow the rate of inflation. Any questions?
Since you're gonna attach this request to inflation, how about if they get inflation under control and it reduces?
Yes.
Are the prices gonna reduce a bit?
If that's the case, then
I mean, our citizens are in the same boat as everybody. Prices going up. So I don't know, it's just, I understand the cost of doing business. But the same time, we have to look out for our citizens and, I mean, the inflation is driving all this. And I'm not a numbers guy. Our finance director will tell me that, yes. But if inflation somehow manages to be brought under control, are we going to be able to make some adjustments for the citizens?
I'm open to that, absolutely.
Can we like maybe think about revisiting this in 3 months, 6 months?
If that's what the council would like, then absolutely.
I don't know what's going on. Continue going up. I just want to be able to say to the citizens that, we are watching out for you. Thank you.
I have to agree. I have faith that it's gonna come down, so I think. this is something Mark, we're gonna just check back in.
Thank you very much.
Consent agenda, 2013 or June 13, 2022 minutes. We have a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda for June 13th. As it is.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as presented in the discussion. Vote.
Counselor Whitaker,
Yes.
Counselor Grossman.
Yeah.
Counselor Hamilton,
Yes.
Counselor Boggs, Counselor Daigle,
Yes.
Mayor Sumner.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Under public hearing, Central Avenue Investments LLC plan amendment and zone change. Opening public hearing. Staff report.
Mayor, City Council, Jamie Chartier. The council will conduct a public hearing and receive the written and oral testimony from parties in favor and opposition, as well as neutral comments on the above referenced application. The first evidentiary public hearing was held before the Planning Commission on May 24th, 2022. The Planning Commission heard the requirements for the climate and zone change from community commercial to high density, with a zone change from community commercial to multifamily residentials on the subject property. The Planning Commission recommended approval to City Council.
Do you have any public comment? I'd like to close the public hearing. And on to council business.
Madam,
Yes.
I was noticing as I looked at this, for several incentives, that there was a resolution here. And it says we were either supposed to approve it or not approve it.
No,
We
it's
didn't
coming
do
up.
anything, we just passed
The
on.
next one. Under business.
It's under council business.
I got you. Okay, sorry.
Get into that right now.
Okay.
Okay. Resolution number 2022.09, Sutherland Sanitary Service Fees. Staff report.
Mayor and council, Tammy Turbridge, Finance Director, and I'm presenting this. Diane. We're asked, the staff is asking council to consider approving resolution number 2022.09, which is an 8.6% rate adjustment for Sutherland Sanitary Services, you just heard in the presentation. Ordinance number 1040 requires that any change to the fee schedule be adopted by resolution, and therefore the attached resolution is here for you.
Do you have a motion?
Make a motion that we approve resolution 2022.9.
Second. A motion and a second to approve resolution number 2022.09, Sutherland Sanitary Service Fees as presented. Any discussion?
Madam Mayor, I did hear discussion about a 3 to 6 month thing. If you're, I would just ask for a friendly amendment to include that, like some sort of review to
Addendum.
satisfy.
idea,
Oh, sorry. Were you going to say the same thing?
pretty much. But hey, maybe it's almost the best. So I amend my motion to include a revisit in 3 to 6 months.
Do you agree with that, Counselor?
A second to your motion to revisit. Okay. Any further discussion on that? Say five.
Should we just say 3 or 6?
Make it a specific.
Make it 6, still 6 months.
Okay, you want to amend the motion again?
You want to?
Yes, I-
amendment. Yeah, I make a motion. Strike the last one. I make a motion that resolution 2022.09 be approved as presented with a revisit after 6 months. I'll second that too.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on that? What about?
Counselor Whitaker.
Aye.
Counselor Grossman,
Aye.
Counselor Hamilton,
Aye.
Counselor Boggs.
Aye.
Counselor Daigle,
Aye.
Mayor Sumner,
Aye.
motion carries.
Under ordinance Central Avenue Investments LLC, plan amendment and zone change, first reading title only. Fund.
Good evening. I have to read it first and then they go with the staff report.
Okay, usually that's a second, well, usually that's the second. reading.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Melanie Masterfield, Deputy City Recorder. I need to read this ordinance in its entirety. An ordinance amending the City of Sutherland Comprehensive Plan Map and Zoning Map to amend the Comprehensive Plan Map from Community Commercial to High Density, concurrent with a zoning map change from Community Commercial C3 to Multifamily Residential R3 for property described as Tax Lot 500 in Section 16 CC of Township 25 South, Range 05 West. The subject 0.52 acre property is located at 0 East Everett Avenue and described herein. The City Council of the City of Sutherland finds that Central Avenue Investments LLC submitted application for a comprehensive plan map and zoning map amendments to amend the existing comprehensive plan and zoning designations for property identified within Douglas County Assessor records as Tax Lot 500 in Section 16 CC of Township 25 South, Range 5 West. The subject property is further described in Exhibit A attached hereto and incorporated herein. The Sutherland Planning Commission held a properly noticed public hearing on September 21st, 2021 to consider the applicant's request. Following the public hearing, the Planning Commission passed a motion to recommend that the City Council approve the proposed comprehensive plan map and zoning map amendments. Pursuant to Section 4.2.150.g of the Sutherland Development Code, notice of public hearing before the City Council was given, and the public hearing on the requested comprehensive plan map and zoning map amendments was conducted on May 24th, 2022. The proposed amendments to the Sutherland Comprehensive Plan map and the Sutherland zoning map to implement the requested zone changes are found to be consistent with the statewide planning goals and in conformance with the Sutherland Comprehensive Plan. The City Council also finds that the site is suitable to the proposed zone with respect to the public health, safety, and welfare of the surrounding area. The findings supporting these decisions are attached as Exhibit B hereto. The City of Sutherland ordains as follows. Section 1, the Sutherland Comprehensive Plan map is hereby amended to change the comprehensive plan designation to the real property identified as all or portion of tax lot 500 in section 16 CC of township 25 south, range 5 west, and more particularly described and depicted in exhibit A. Section 2, the Sutherland zoning map is hereby amended to reconfigure the zoning designations of the real property identified as all or portion of tax lot 500 in section 16 CC of township 25 south, range 5 west, more particularly described and depicted in exhibit A. Section 3, the city council adopts the findings of fact and decision document, exhibit B, as their own, and the Sutherland comprehensive plan map and the Sutherland zoning map shall be revised to depict the adopted amendments.
Public staff report.
Mayor, City Council, I'd just like to stipulate the staff report into the record unless you guys have any questions. And then your three options is to approve the first reading of the ordinance as presented, approve the first reading of the ordinance with amendments, or not approve the reading of said ordinance.
Make a motion.
Make a motion.
Call for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance. Yes, the plan amendment and zone change. Circle of investment. First. I'll second.
Who had it?
Okay, motion is second. Discussion.
Sure.
Do you have any discussion? You have a question?
Am I ready for this?
Yes.
Okay. This is from what I read, a 6-unit campus.
So a 6-unit complex, not a
Okay.
campus. So it'd be like duplexes. They want to do 3 sets of 2 duplexes.
Is there on-property parking within their plans? Because I drove that and Everett is a short street that dead ends at the church. And there's housing that goes by Everett and then turns right on the way. There doesn't look like there's any way for that property to exit off of Central. So I'm concerned myself if there is parking along the street. Possibility of 6 to 12 cars. There'd be a traffic jam.
So the plan amendment and zone change doesn't talk about the development criteria, address that. But once they do get to the development criteria, that will be addressed and it will be on-site parking. It is something that is required.
Great.
Any other discussion? Question? Okay, ready for a vote.
Counselor Whitaker,
Aye.
Counselor Grossman,
Aye.
Counselor Hamilton,
Aye.
Counselor Boggs,
Aye.
Counselor Daigle,
Aye.
Mayor Sumner,
Aye.
motion carries.
Rodeo Blackberry Lands Property Exchange, call for staff report.
Mayor, City Council, Jamie Chartier, City Planner again. This staff, well, I guess before I begin, the staff report, I just want to inform you that prior to the last council meeting, we did find the missing application from the high school homecoming celebration that they do on the Blackberry Festival grounds portion. So this staff report is in follow-up to the request made by Dwayne Waller, Southern Blackberry Festival on June 13th, 2022, City Council meeting. Mr. Waller's request was to convey the festival grounds to the original ownership of the Southern Blackberry Festival. This staff report will provide the City Council background information to Mr. Waller's request, hold discussion, and provide staff discussion on how they want to proceed.
Is this gonna look on the screen?
No, so in your packet, you do have the aerials.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure you can see it. All right.
So in the explanation is an outline of the ownership and history of the said property that is in question. Do you guys have any questions on that portion?
So they're just within the broken up lines.
Right, so each of those lines, the dashed lines is a separate tax lot. But each of those properties, if with during discussion, you guys decide to go through the land use process to give that to the Blackberry Festival, those are the three tax lots that would be involved.
So how does the Blackberry Festival? What do I want to say? How are they entitled to ownership transfer? I didn't even see them on the list.
So in doing the research, they were not a previous owner. As far as being entitled, I think just being a nonprofit agency that utilizes that grounds, it would be an option. That is why this is coming to you up for discussion.
That was my question. I wanted to ask Ashley is, there's no nexus I could find between Timber Days from where this land originally came from. They kept saying that they want it back. And I haven't seen anywhere where they ever owned it. So is there any kind of nexus or ever ownership from them anywhere in the history? And do we have any obligation to give them this land?
There's no,
Oh, go ahead.
there's no obligation. Council to do this. So we're coming back with the facts that we research, so you guys can make that decision. whether to move forward or not with getting that property over.
So where did this come from that they're thinking that they want it back? Where,
I think the nexus is the committee members involved are on multiple committees. So they were on the original probably timber.
Douglas County.
Yeah, the Douglas County Timber Committee. They're on Blackberry, they're on Rodeo. So there's the cross of committee members is where the nexus comes in. So, correct.
There'd be all verbal at that point.
But I want to get it straight, talking to Ashley, there is no nexus, make that clear.
I'm concerned that if we turn it over to them, we can't use it for anything else. Because they would have ownership. And if we were to leave it the way it was and allow them access during their festival, then we could still use it for other things and that's my question.
my concern is if we give land to one group, we're setting precedent of other groups wanting us to give land to them. And how are we saying, okay, it's okay for us to give land to one group and not to another group? Then are we in the business of giving away free land?
I want to add to that. Do they know that if that were to happen, that they would then be paying water for that area, water and sewer, I'm assuming?
It's something. we're-
Well, I was seeing if Dwayne was here.
I was too.
It's just something we're gonna sit down with staff and with them and decide, how this is gonna work out. Some of those things.
They might not be thinking about that part of it.
And
It might be a situation where they have to put a meter in and they are.
So-
Talked about the improvements that they need to do, trying to look at their things are. And I can't understand from. You know what?
It's not their property.
There's a history. Do you know what improvements they were considering? Because it's a consideration to talk about. There was some water piping line, so forth, what I understand. I don't know a lot of information on that.
I
so
met with Wayne out there at the prop last week, Saturday, I think. And he spent quite a bit of time telling me about why we should transfer that land, to Blackberry Festival, and tied it together with Timber Days people, and going back a long time, and why all of these things happened, how the former city manager caused problems with them because he called state came in, popcorn flowers just, you know, they can go on and on and on, tell you all kinds of things. But when I saw this, I would have to say that I don't see. First of all, I don't know what good it will do them if they own that piece of property versus what they have now. Because if they own the property, they could then take care of it 365 days a year, I assume. But they don't have the people to do that. They're short people. And right now, they have a guaranteed 2-week window to use that property however they want for the mud races and whatever else they do. I would think, though, that we would have to assume some maintenance responsibility for mowing the grass down, perhaps, and if there's bad pipe, then we should fix the pipes. I mean, if that's our property, we need to take care of it.
They have, right, Aaron?
Arizona Public Works. That property, we have not done a lot of. You know, there's some old piping and we don't know exactly how it all works or where it all goes. And whenever Dwayne gets ready for his mud bogs, we help him piece it back together, and we mow before the rodeo and we do some stuff. To hear Mr. Waller talk, they've been maintaining it immaculately for the last 25 years. They come in a couple days before the Blackberry and do some stuff. And other than that, it's kind of been on us. So, you know, could we spend a little more time over there? Possibly. But it's been kind of a joint maintenance issue. So we do some stuff.
Well, it's not about ownership, it's about control. Yeah. They want to say what goes on over there.
Possibly.
Well, then would that mean that the rodeo will be mixed? Because that's not what they have over there in the Timberlake. They have the rodeo. They have the mud bog races once a year at Blackberry. And other than that, I mean, they have some, around Blackberry, they have some events, they still do the BMX races and stuff. But that's all during that, you know, 3-4 day period. And the rodeo is a separate. But other than that, that property is essentially ignored. Except for behind the fire department, they've been trying to make a soccer field and such. And is that property part of it? Behind the
No.
fire department?
No.
Or is it just from that fenced area? You know,
It's just
because the pavilions on city property, and the walking path is city property. So it's not about, I don't think who owns it, but whether or not they have control of it.
They've always been able to use it if they need it for other stuff. We never.
I don't think anything's ever been denied to them if they want to do something.
The other thing it takes away is that there's part of a walking trail that goes through there that you, that kind of goes off of the Red Rock Trail that goes to the road. And a lot of people walk through there every day. And so giving us away takes part of that walking trail away.
So part of this, the part of the staff report I didn't get to finish after the ownership was if you guys give us the direction to move forward with wanting to deed this over to them, there is a land use process that is required because the city would obviously keep the Red Rock Trail. We would keep the wetlands. We need the bathrooms. The roads are separate already.
But I'm talking about the road that goes right through it from the one road to the other.
The old warehouse road on the south side or the trail.
Or the trail.
And that's what I said, the trail.
No, I mean,
This
each
trail.
side of the,
This one that goes right through it.
The one that goes through the-
The walking trail.
Yeah.
And seeing part of like that, because of the different access easements as well, if you guys were wanting the direction to move forward with a property line adjustment, you have the surveyor fees, which are roughly around $300 to $4,500 that's
We have to pay.
that the city would have to pay, and that's because we would have to hire a surveyor to create this lot of record and go through the county filing recording fees. But part of that process, we would grant the access for that path. And then also, it would grant them that easement from Wake.
Since they're requesting it, we can't have them pay it.
Again, that is, and then part of that too is deeding it back to a nonprofit organization. There's a deed restriction that they cannot then sell it. If they were to dissolve as a nonprofit entity, it would have to come back to the city. Plus, anything they were to do on that, they would have to meet land use regulations, wetland regulations, as well as their water meter would now be their water meter, their fees. Where right now the city is incurring the water fees.
Madam Mayor, it just seems to me, based on what I learned through time and then the circumstance. One of the things I think that bothered Dwayne is that we allowed the school district to go over there and burn. And his perception was we just allowed him to do it without any oversight, insurance and all that. And we couldn't dispute that. And the reason we couldn't dispute that is because when he filed the records request, Diane went back, having worked in the front, and looked in the wrong folder. They changed the system and in the application process and everything to make it alphabetical. If he had seen that, he had seen in there that the fire chief met with the school district to ensure there were no nails, that was wood shop wood only. My thinking is that there was this knee-jerk reaction to the fact that we just let anybody go over there and use it willy-nilly without oversight. As you recall my conversation with him, is that the reason we asked for an application is because there's a need for city intervention or services to be involved. In this case, it was the fire department to ensure that there were no nails. And so all that did happen. And happened as I think he would have liked it to have happened. We just couldn't give him the correct answer at the time. It just seems to me as though when you look at the parameters of this property, first of all, we don't really truly know whether the rodeo grounds wants any interest in owning that property. Okay, we just don't know. And the fact of the matter is the process is necessary to get to where they think they want to go. I don't think it's in anybody's best interest. I think that's what's in the best interest is having somebody like Larry sit down with them and say, okay, what are your real issues? And let's come together and work on it. And the reason I say that is because over time, Red Rock Road is going to be a fully functioning arterial street with street gutter sidewalks and street lights. And when you see where that's coming through there, they should know and realize that that's part of a transportation system plan and it's going to happen at some point. Now why? And some of these things that are there, I think we could just work out by some communication and working together. Because what you're talking about when you do is split off the environmental land because it has the poppy flower and the wetlands, which requires state land oversight and mitigation. There's a trail itself, which we're going to keep and we want to carve out. And by the time you're all done, you got this one little tiny square for the mud boggers. And at the end of the day, I'm willing to bet they just want some assurances that we're not going to allow it to be abused, misused, and recharacterized into something different. Sorry to go on so long. I just think at the end of the day, that's the ultimate win-win.
and it's right next to the creek also, that, you know, it would be a possibility where they would stop water. They would do this, but they have to pay property tax on it.
Oh, no,
They're
they'd be a
nonprofit.
nonprofit. Sorry. That's right.
I actually, I'm off the table and that, what Larry talked about, I think that's the reason it's going to do. dialogue going between us. He's got, he's in French, maybe it won't be.
Yeah, as far as the rodeo grounds are concerned, they don't have really a rodeo right now. And Wayne, thinks that he's gonna oversee that. And he knows that that rodeo ground, if somebody's gonna have to spend some money on it, because it's not a very safe rodeo ground right now. And I don't think that they've got money to do that. So, I think that the city could certainly help utilize that property. If we had a decent rodeo ground, and they could have a couple of rodeos there a year, that could raise money and bring people to town. And that's kind of what we want to do.
Except that we have a third of the community scream bloody murder over this, the dust, the noise, and the infringement on all the residential neighborhood around it. So every year it's a significant fight from our perspective to have to deal with that.
Well, then we should just go down the road.
Or figure out another option like I was talking about.
Well, I'd be happy to sit down with and whoever who wants to bring. And find out.
Well, I think rather than just you sit down, with some staff people that actually know the ins and outs of what can and can't be helpful.
Well, that's fine. Just need to, but you said something that I think was really important. Wayne was upset with the fire. Thinking that the city just allowed somebody to go in there just to do it. And he even took me over to where the fire was and showed it to, black truck and stuff. And they were upset about it. I think Wayne's the one that was upset. I don't think his sergeant in mind and those other guys really was upset. And I do think it's a control issue.
I haven't seen a big mess with that in the plant.
Well, the problem is that the fire was built, and I have no idea if there was any nails in it or not. The fire was built at the end of the mud block run, right where the trucks are gonna run over it. So it all had to be cleaned up. And he was concerned about nails, which he didn't say, but I think he kind of hinted. And I think that was a big deal.
So why isn't he here tonight?
You're talking to Wayne or Dwayne?
When
Dwayne thinks we're on that.
Huh?
Dwayne thinks we're on that.
Wayne,
Dwayne has had trouble with the city before.
Yeah,
And
he
he's
should
still
get over
harbors.
that. He's had it for years. He just needs to get over it, because we've always tried to work with it.
And I don't see why we can't, again, get to the bottom of it. And if that's an issue next year, when the school wants to do it, work out a situation where they can do it and not cause harm. But I do know Chief Lane here, he did tell the school district no nails in any of that wood.
We can work with them to maybe have it in a different location.
Correct.
It's not going to
Correct.
affect their
That would be a-
bug.
Yeah, there are multiple other options. we can do.
Right.
Absolutely, the industrial park.
Well,
Even
even
around
if it's
school.
in that area, but just not right.
In the middle of the
where
arena.
cars are going.
Right.
It's a big area.
we could put in the middle of football.
oh yeah,
Yeah, oh, that would be-
you do it over on the school 28 piece of property.
Right.
Or wouldn't-
So I'll get a hold of Wayne and tell him that I'm going to do some consultation to get together with him.
With staff.
We can help facilitate.
And we'll.
Let's make it work. That's my vote.
Is there anything that we need to do as far as a motion or anything?
We're gonna table that until
Just
after
council
the-
consensus.
Yeah, whatever, you can make a formal vote or just by consensus agree.
table this until after we can see if we can come up with some kind of agreement on status quo.
The mayor said,
All right, on to city manager report.
I have nothing.
Okay.
Well,
Council comments.
Well, I have one to say, but it would just hurt your feelings.
Remember, monthly meeting time is limited. Please ask questions or make statements that are likely to benefit the group. Individual comments and questions can be handled on a one-on-one basis, to be handled outside the meeting. Councilor Whitaker.
I heard something last night that I just wanted to find out if this was true. or not, Having to do with the mortuary and the problems we had over there. And I heard that they're being fined $1,000 a day. $1,000 a day because they're not following the rules. And the police department is also fined $1,000 a day. And it's been going on for some time, which is building up a pretty big pot, because none of it's been paid. So is that true?
So this has been going on for a long time. It's something that council's directed staff forward with, and it's correct. It started September of 2021. As far as the fines go, it didn't actually, the fines didn't take into place till somewhere between June 22nd and June 30th. We don't have the exact date yet. But what I can say at this time is that we're going to court on July 14th to discuss the matter. I've had contact, several phone calls with the property owner. He's been misled by individuals that supposedly was trying to help him, which kind of went south for him. At one point, there was 8 individuals living in there, which per our C1 development code, 50% has to be for commercial use first, and then residential second. So they've been out of compliance for a long time. Plus, now it's kind of escalated where the police have been called out quite a bit for strangulation. There's also been Michael's involved. So a lot's been going on there, and we're trying to correct it. And hopefully on July 14th, we are to a point where we can wrap this up.
But as far as the citation, the code enforcement in the police department is the one that does the citation. It's just the $1,000 per day as long as they're in non-compliance. So we give the direction to the police department. It's not both departments finding them at the same time.
The last thing I would like to hear from Brian is, I don't know if everybody around this table knows about the white geese. The white geese, unfortunately.
So exactly what date it was. 5 of the white geese perished, and I got a phone call or a text message from an individual that's seen them. So my wife and I actually went down there and took our canoe and rode around there and removed the geese from the pond. I'm not exactly sure what happened to them, but something did happen to them. Have not spoke with the individual that originally released the geese regarding what happened to them. I know that they did. One of them was ill, and supposedly they caught it, relocated it. Doing well, there is one left. I don't know if it's a juvenile or Gosling or Bruce, but there is an individual locally that has 10+ years with the U.S. organization for relocating animals. So we were working with them, and they're in the process of actually catching a domestic duck and goose to be relocated. That's about all I know at this time.
That's the problem that they were domesticated.
I honestly do not know what happened.
That is weird that you buy them,
let it be known that the city didn't. use.
Yeah, that's the room.
Well, the individual that called me, that's the first question. Absolutely not. City of Sutherland, not responsible for that. Absolutely
Council Westman. Council President.
The only thing I have is just, remember this Thursday is the kickoff of Music Off Central. If anybody needs any more posters, let me know. And I hope I see all your faces there.
Council Boggs. Council Daigle.
Well, I'm just afraid I'm not gonna be here.
Here's the point.
You're disappointed that I won't be there for that opening, because I think that's really important for our community. And I'm curious, are we gonna get the cover?
The cover was delivered last week. They started selling it tomorrow morning.
So excited about the stage. The concrete is great. I'm gonna walk it through, check it in with them. Got a picture on there already.
A lot going on this week.
I wanted one thing for Aaron. Thank you for cleaning up the one graffiti on that rock. It's really great. I have noticed there's more along like the bathroom, the back wall and stuff. And it's been there a while, and I was wondering if that's something that you guys kind of watch for and clean up as you see it, because I know previously, in previous past, that when some is there, it keeps being tagged and it becomes ongoing. So I'm wondering if we have a way to keep watching for it and cleaning up as it comes.
When they spray paint that split face block, it is really possible to get off it without completely taking a pressure. So we haven't taken any steps on that. A sandblaster, I don't want to get, change the.
I can word out of it. It's like on the side of the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think that was the same person,
that's probably why
because that was the same color with the bench and the trash can. And
it's on the trash can and on the dog.
rock
dog,
body.
hose.
So we'll make a run at it here pretty soon. This week. I know what you mean. You let them start to get started, and then
And then people go on top of it trying to go.
it's just so problematic when they spray the outside of that. Well, any of that block, it's just so porous that it.
All right.
I just want to thank Brian and Aaron and crew Gary for everything that you're doing down there and meeting with me, stressing with me.
I'll take this till after Thursday.
Yeah. Stress isn't over.
Thank you. That's all I have. Adjourn.
Bye, Ashley.